This video is a continuation of the login screen we created a few days ago. So we are going to create a registration screen now, and when it is filled and submitted, the information will be saved in the database, in the SQLite database. So as you can see, I can navigate to registration screen or register screen or create account screen. Okay, so you can see I can scroll within there. So of course I can go back to login screen. Okay, so now let's register. So what we do is to fill the form. So once we fill the form, then click on submit, the information will be saved in the database. So let's say I click on submit now. So look at that. So you can see that little notification there, those notification showing that the information has been saved or the registration was successful. So now to view the record or the data that I just submitted and all the other ones that I've used to try it, so we'll go through Device Explorer here. Okay, so I'll just go through it and show you the record or the data I submitted in SQLite Database. So if you want to know how to do this, it's another video for this. I would link it in the description of this video, so you can see if you to see how you can configure SQLite Browser with Android Studio. Okay, so now what we do, so you can see that the data is showing here in the SQLite Browser. Okay, so as you can see, that it's showing. Look at that. So look at all that I've entered. As you can see all that I've entered. So see the one I just entered just now, just registered with. So let's get right into it. All right, so now to do this, the first thing you need to do is to look at what we have worked on before. That is the registration or the login screen. So we are going to create a new screen now. Okay, so go to app at the left, go to Java, then right click on look for res, that's resources, then look for layout. So on the layout, you can see that we only have one activity main.xml. So we are going to create a new XML file or a new layout. So what we'll do, in order to do that, so what we'll do is right click on the layout here. So when you right click on the layout, go to new, then look for activity, then you click on empty views activities, then give it a name, make sure that it remains on Java as a language, then let it generate a layout file, then click on finish. Once you click on finish, you have these files here. The two files will be created, that is registration.java and of course activity_register.xml will be created. So while the XML is the design, the .java is the code behind it. Okay, so as you can see, it's just like we did before. So we're not going to spend time in doing everything one by one like we did. So we're going to borrow a lot from the registration screen the other time. Oh, sorry, the login screen the other time. Okay, so we'll split the screen now so that we can have both design and code. So as you can see here. All right, so now what we need to now do is to go to the activity_main, which is actually the login form. The login screen we created the other time. So I will encourage you to watch that video if you have not watched it. It's also linked in the description of this video. So copy everything here. So once you copy everything, go to this activity_register.xml, delete whatever is there and paste what you copied in your clipboard. So you have it here like this. So everything comes here. So we are going to alter it to suit our purpose. Okay, so now that we have done that, so we'll just make changes. This login should be changed to register. So as that the text view login should be changed to register. Then so we now create some input fields. So then we'll just copy from this text view up to this point, highlight and copy it. So you can look at what I copied, you can look at the areas I copied, then we just go on top of it and paste it. So once we paste it, then we now alter it to suit what we are dealing with, what we want to do. So this is what I want to alter. Okay, so now that I have that, so we'll make changes here. So this one should be name. That's it. We'll change the text there to name. Then the edit text, we'll change it to, let me zoom in a little bit. So the ID there should be changed to txt name. So like that. We are going to use this later. So I will encourage you to follow, give it the same name I'm giving it. But if it is, no, you can actually give it any name. But when I'm calling this at the other end, also know what to add there, or also know what to put there. So then I'll give this one TSC email ID. That is for the email address. Then the let's see. Okay, then this one should be changed to txt password. Just make changes. Then here we'll give the text view there, create password. Then we'll change the ID here to txt password 1. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to have a confirmed password, since we are registering, so that we are sure that the user enters the same password as the confirmed password. Because we are going to continue in this series that when you register, you should be able to log in with your registration input. Okay, so just copy this and paste it underneath there. So once you paste it, then you have this. Then here, just make changes to suit what we are dealing with, what we want to do. So this one will now be a txt password 2. Okay, so this is the confirmed password. Okay, so then this one will be confirmed password here. Okay, so now that we have done that, then so you can see how it looks at the right here. Okay, so I think this settles this. So the next thing to do is to make adjustments here. So this one should be submit instead of login. Then I think everything seems okay. Then this one will be okay. Change this one to already have ID. Then we'll now have login at the bottom here. All right, so if you check it now, so see how it looks, you can see. So that create account, change it to login. So here, to change this one to login. Okay, so yeah, change this one to login. So this is how it looks so far. So this is the previous one. This is the login screen. So you know that here we have a. So we need to give this one an ID. So the ID will now be open registration screen or open register screen. Okay, so I also did a video that has to do with navigating from one screen to the other. It will also be those videos will also be linked in the description of this video. Okay, so then we have it this way. So I think everything looks cool now based on what we are dealing with, what we want to do. So so we have this open register screen. Then we'll go to the register design now. We'll go to the main activity now. So here we'll make some coding, do some coding here. So we come here. So we create we've gone through this one before. We create a variable, so called open register screen or open a register. So then we are calling that we are looking for that open register screen. So that is the variable we are looking for. So we are targeting that. So it actually needs to be a test view because it's a test. Then the next thing we need to do is so know that it is coming from here because it's a test view. Yeah, that's why we are giving it. That's why we are creating the variable out of text view. Okay, so then we now say open register does set on click list now. So once you type it this way, then it automatically type this override public void on click for you. Then just go into, but if it doesn't, just you manually type it. They will now declare our intention to intent. My intent equals new intent. Then we now say it is this file which is main activity. Then this, then we'll now tell where we are going. So it needs to go to register.class, which is the registration screen. Okay, so if you gave your own something there, so you also know what to put here. All right, so then we'll now say start activity then my intent. So this one will make it to go to that page or that screen, or to reveal that screen. So this is the code that we wrote. Okay, so that settles here so far. So that simply settles this. Okay, so then we'll do for that of login, so that we don't need to waste time. So on the login, so where you have this, we'll create on that login text. So we'll create a variable for it too, so an ID. So we just copy everything there from that main activity to register.java. So we'll just copy everything, then we'll just paste it and alter it to suit what we are dealing with. We've gone through this one before, so I don't need to waste time here. So this one will go to a main activity, which is actually the login screen. Okay, so this is what we have so far. So let's run it. So if we run it now, so we can actually, if you click on create account, so you can see that it opens the next page for me, or the next screen. So I can actually also click on login. So the next we are going to do is to code the backend. All right, so here, so what we'll do now is that open the manifest. Okay, open the manifest file. So add this line 5. Look at it carefully. Look at this line 5 carefully. Let me make it a little bit bigger. So look at it carefully. Now this is to grant permission. Okay, so that you don't have issues when you are altering, because you're actually altering the system per se. Okay, so make sure that you add that to the manifest, save it. All right, so that is out of the way. So we'll go to activity underscore register now. So which is here. So here. So this button that we created, so we need to give it a name. We need to give it an ID, a unique ID. That is, so come here now. So now say ID. Then we'll give it add user. Okay, so we'll give it btn add user. So it is this btn add user that we'll click on later, that something will be done. That is to now save it to database and so on. All right, so what we'll do, then go to the file I created there. So right click there, go to new, then go to new. We're going to create a database handler. So you right click on the project name. So then you create a new Java file. Then you call it database handler. So in database handler, so we extend SQLite helper. So extend SQLite helper. All right. So if you want me to do anything, this same thing with Kotlin, just let me know. So I'll consider it and create a video for it. So create the various variables. So say public static final string database name. So the database name, we are creating it. Then we'll now say equal to the name of the database. So the name of the database will be full DB. So that's full database. So they will also create another variable. So now say public static final int. That will now be the version of the database. So database underscore version. So we are saying version 1. Okay, so let me just fast forward this other one. So we'll create same thing. We'll create variables for the for the table name, the various columns, that is ID, TST name, TST email, and TST password 1. So note that we are not saving the password 2 to the database. That is just to confirm whether the person the passwords do match. Okay, so now that settles that. So what we now need to do next is to say I will create a constructor. So now say public database handler. Then so now say super context, the database name, then of course the version. Okay, so now this is how Java does it. So now say public void onCreate. So that onCreate SQLite database, then we'll give it a DB as the name. So here, so we now say, so within this function, we now say string query create table, because this table is actually going to be created because this database is not actually separate per se, so it's more or less an inbuilt database. Okay, so the table is going to be created on the fly. So we have the various parameters for the table. So you can see the name column, the email column, and password column, and so on. So they will all be text. That is the input will not be text. Then, so we now say that db.execute query, or the .exec query. Note that the query, we created the query at line 27, line 22 rather, string query equals create table, just like we normally create table in your SQL. If you have done anything that has to do with SQL before. So we now say, once we have done that, so we now say public void add user, then string. So the user parameters that we are adding, they will be username, that will more or less like the name, then the email address or the email ID, then of course the password. Okay, so we have 3 parameters. That of the ID, the one you have in line 21 or 23 will automatically be auto-generated basically. So we now say SQLite database, then db equals this dot get write table database, then the content value, then which is a value equals new content value. So we'll create an object out of that. Then when I say that the values dot put. So we now put the column name, which is username, then the email column, that is name column, email column, and password. Okay, so then after that we now say db.insert. So you now insert into that table. So it will insert into the table name basically. Alright, note that we have already created the table, we have given the table name there, so I'm now using the variable here. So after we have done all that, then of course when a database is open, it needs to be closed. So we are using db.close so that the connection will not be open after it has done its work. Okay, so then we now say public, after we have done, I want to say public void on upgrade. So if this one will now be that if there is if the table already exists and so on. So that's what this one is going to do. It's going to check that the db.execute query will now be dropped. That is, will now drop a table if it already exists. Okay, so that's basically what is going to do here. All right, so we now say on create, now say db dot. Okay, so let's look at it now. Let's look at it. So look at this. Let me add override to this. I had an error earlier. Let me see. So add override here. Then, okay, I think everything looks okay so far. So now say on create then db. So I think everything. So let's see. So add the override here too. Add override at line 43. So now say override the annotation to add it here. Okay, so I think that's pretty much okay. So let's look at the code carefully and go through it, see that it matches yours and there are no errors. So if you need the code, don't hesitate to ask. We can make an arrangement on how you can get it. Okay, so this is what we have so far. So like I said, go through it and see if it matches yours. Okay, so once that is done, it is saved already. Then save it. So the next thing you need to do is to implement this class. So to implement this class, go to register.java. So here, once you get to this register.java, we are going to implement that class. Then let me display this one. So this button, that btn user, add user that we created that time. So we need to bring that in here. So you go underneath the class declaration here. Then I say private edit test. Testing those things that were created before at the XML level. Okay, so now it's a public a private button, then add btn add user. Okay, so then of course I needed to import the button library. Okay, so there's a public private data handler, database handler. Then we give it an object. an object name. So we're going to creating an object out of the class called database handler. So here in line 28, we now say tst equals find view by id, then id dot arrow dot id dot test tst name. So we'll do the same thing for all the 5 elements that we had. That's the name, email, password, then password 2, then of course the btn user, add user. Then that database handler that we created, we now initialize it. We now say equals to new database handler, then register that file. Then we'll implement then we now say that btn add user dot set click listener. So which means once we click that, what should happen is that it should then you should call this input, that whatever you have in the tst name, email, and password should be called. So it's going to more or less assemble them. So you will now check that if you have not entered the name, because remember we created a variable called string name equals tst dot get text dot to string. Okay, so if you didn't enter a name in the test input for name, then it's going to show a total notification to say enter your name, basically. So it's more like a little form validation right here. So let me just copy this and paste it. Do this for the rest. So do the same thing for email. And so we just want to make sure that the input is not empty. That is the name, the email, password, they are not empty. Okay, so I may even do a different video that will be dedicated for form validation. Okay, so once that is done, so what will now happen is that we'll now say that that object we created earlier, that database handler, then now say dot add new user, then so if everything goes well, we are adding name, we are adding email that we created before. So add user, the name, email, and password. If everything goes well, it shows you that registration was successful. Otherwise, once that has been done, it will clear off the screen so that you will not have any item on the screen anymore. Okay, that's basically what you have there. Okay, so go through the code and see if it aligns with yours or if yours aligns with this. Okay, so telling me about local variable stuff, so that doesn't actually matter in this context. Okay, so I think this does that. So what we now need to do is to test the application. So in order to test the application, let's see. So this is what we have done so far. Look at it carefully. So look at the code carefully and see if it tallies with what you have. Look at it carefully. Okay, so if it tallies with what you have. Okay, so let's test it now. So in order to test it, click on run. So once you click on run, of course, it comes up with with this. Then click on create account. So we're going to the next in subsequent video, or one of the subsequent videos, we're going to create. So just fill the form now. We're going to see how you can log in with the input you are doing now. That is with this your registration. We're going to see how you can log in with it. So stay tuned to this channel, and like I said some time ago, a lot of contents are coming on this platform. So if I fill it now and I click on, so look at the name, what I entered, look at it carefully. So if I fill it now and I click on submit, so the items or the information I entered here, or the data I entered here, will now be saved in that SQLite database, and we're going to see it and view it and see whether it went or not. So if you click on submit now, pay attention, see that it shows a little flicker there, a total notification showing register successfully. So let's go to device explorer now. So once we get this, then I'll go and look for it where the information is. So just scroll through there. Like I said, I already have a dedicated video for how you can configure SQLite Browser with Android Studio. So it is linked in the description of this video. Alright, so let's quickly check it. So if you check it now and you go here, go to database, then look for the database name. So you can see that it's FoodDB. So if you check here, then you can see that it's actually the FoodDB. If you have other databases, they'll also be listed there. Okay, so you can see that this is the database that I have, that I'm referring to. So what I need to do is to right click and click on Save As. Then I'll give it a name. Note that the name you are giving it should be whatever name .SQL or SQLite, but I normally like using SQL. Okay, so once you do that, you click on Save. Now save this in a place you can see it. You can easily see it. Then open SQLite Browser now. Okay, then click on that icon there. Then you can just say all files, so you can see what I saved is out. So double click on it. So once you double click on it, it opens like this. Then right click on the table, so you can see the parameters in the table that were created earlier in that Java code. So right click on it and go to so you can see that it opens like this. So you can see all that I have been entering to test this application, and see the last one I just entered, and that is basically how it is. I hope this helps you. If this video helped you in any way, subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Like the video and share it. Thank you for watching. See you in another video.